But now we ask, will Jehovah answer our pleas for more faith? Most definitely he will. And one outstanding way he has done this is by providing us with Bible prophecy. Prophecies in the book of Daniel alone have helped millions to build rock-solid faith. For example, the fulfilled prophecies regarding the king of the north and the king of the south have been very faith-strengthening. In fact, let's review the video on this topic that appeared in Brother Kenneth Cook's May broadcast. Enjoy this powerful video.
Daniel received a prophecy about the coming of two rivals, the king of the north and the king of the south. How has it been fulfilled? In the late 1800s, the German Empire became the king of the north. That government brought its power and heart against the king of the south with a large army. Today, Russian authorities continue to attack true worship. We expect such persecution, but we also expect it to end. Our King, Jesus Christ, is more powerful than any human government. Soon he will destroy not only the kings of the north and the south, but all of his enemies. And he will deliver God's loyal people.
What a powerful video. Has the unerring accuracy of those prophecies strengthened your faith? We're confident that it has. And we're absolutely convinced that the rest of that prophecy, including our deliverance, will be fulfilled. Christ soon will defend God's people and bring an end to this entire wicked system.
What we've just had in the final talk of the Powerful by Faith convention, being given here by Stephen Lett, is regurgitated spiritual food. As Stephen Lett himself acknowledges, there's nothing new here. This video about the King of the North and the King of the South was actually part of the May 2021 JW Broadcasting episode by Kenneth Cook. Why do we need to see it twice? Why are they presenting it on the convention all over again rather than simply leaving it to Jehovah's Witnesses to decide for themselves whether this is impactful, whether this is meaningful? Because it's already been made available to them. It's on the website. Why do we need to see it again? I guess it would be one thing if the material were helpful, were relevant, were factual, but it's just propaganda. It's just trying to push this narrative of Jehovah's Witnesses being at the center of Bible prophecy. And actually, now that we are seeing it again, we can see things in a little more perspective, because at the beginning of the video, maybe Tibor can overlay if he is gracious. At the beginning of the video, we see the end of the Daniel drama where Kenny Rogers visits Daniel on the banks of the Tigris. Isn't it interesting how all angels and, in fact, Jesus all look like Kenny Rogers? It's just a male-only affair in heaven, and not just males, but also males with this white hair and white beard combination. Anyway, that's apparently the standard issue angel look. So Kenny Rogers visits Daniel. All of these hundreds, thousands of years ago to give him information about Jehovah's Witnesses being persecuted. That's what you have to believe. And bear in mind, the period of history that's supposedly covered by the King of the North, King of the South prophecy should include the Second World War. That's what Jehovah's Witnesses believe. In actual fact, as I've already explained in my video rebuttal, and the sushi will be here if Tibor is again gracious, as I've already explained, the King of the North, King of the South prophecy doesn't go any further than the Seleucid Ptolemaic period. That's when the writer is talking about. In fact, that's how we can date the book of Daniel, because it gets more and more accurate as the writer is talking about events of his time, whereas when he's talking about past events in Babylonian Persian history, he gets it wrong time and time again, as we've already seen. Doesn't get it right about the Medes and Persians capturing Babylon. Doesn't get it right about Darius the Mede existing and being the first king of Babylon following the Mede and Persian conquest. But they do start to get it right with interesting detail when it gets to this period, which is sort of covered by the book of Maccabees, the Maccabean period, when there was this Jewish uprising against the rule of Antiochus Epiphanes IV. That's when the book of Daniel starts to make sense. Daniel certainly isn't talking about anything beyond that period with any accuracy, and Daniel sure as hell isn't talking about the events of the 20th and 21st century. And if you think about this for a moment, if you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses watching this, just imagine you are an angel sent to speak to the Jewish prophet Daniel on the banks of the Tigris, and you're tasked with giving Daniel information about the future related to his people. How would you skip the Holocaust? How would the murder of 6 million Jews not be relevant to Jewish prophet Daniel? How would you instead focus on the history of Jehovah's Witnesses and the periods in their history when they were persecuted or not persecuted? How would you fixate on one country, Russia, as being the king of the north because it's banned Jehovah's Witnesses, even though there are many other countries that have done the same thing? In the case of Malawi, not just banning Jehovah's Witnesses, but brutalizing them, subjecting them to the most inhumane treatment. How would you, as an angel relaying history in advance to Daniel, get it so back to front? Have such terrible priorities in what constitutes important information, so that the Holocaust isn't really worth mentioning. But, Russia persecuting Jehovah's Witnesses and banning them, that's important. That needs to be in the information that I'm going to give the prophet Daniel. None of it makes the slightest sense. And if I were a believing Jehovah's Witness watching this convention, I would be thinking, why are we seeing this all over again? Don't I get to decide for myself whether I watch the May 2021 broadcast and how much I watch it? I've come to the convention, or I've downloaded the convention, expecting to see new material. Why does my spiritual food have to be regurgitated, essentially some kind of ready meal that Stephen Lett's throwing back in the microwave and reheating?